Walking past an ambulance, you've probably seen Eknolubma printed on the front of the vehicle. Well, that's a weird brand, huh? Hey, that's just ambulance backward. It's written in reverse so the driver in front of the ambulance can see the word properly in the rearview mirror. This will alert the driver to move out of the way and let it pass. The fastest ever gust of wind recorded on our planet was a crazy 253 miles per hour. Tropical cyclone Olivia hit the west coast of Australia in 1996, bringing strong winds in its wake. Barrow Island, just a little off the coast, was hit with the full force of the wind, breaking the previous record of 231 miles per hour. With the world's population nearly hitting 8 billion, it becomes a little more manageable once you realize how large our home really is. If every single person stood shoulder to shoulder, although tight, we could all fit within Los Angeles. All across the deserts of the world, you can find moss growing somewhere. The cool thing about moss is its ability to capture water right out of the air. Using little hair-like growths called awns, they're able to live on just moisture floating by. Always on the lookout for sharks and orcas, dolphins have developed a neat trick of being partially awake while the other part of them is having a snooze. These marine mammals are known as some of the smartest animals on the planet, mainly because of their ability to conserve their brain power. Out of the mysteries in our solar system, one that's never discussed is the Earth's name. Unlike the other planets, it's the only one not named after a Greek or Roman deity. There's also no record of who named our planet after all. You've probably seen them everywhere, people who sport some sort of facial hair. But some people are petrified of them. Meet pagonophobia, the fear of beards. A 2018 study found that beards contain quite a lot more bacteria than a dog's fur does. No wonder they're afraid. Clouds are not as light and fluffy as they appear. A single cloud can weigh up to 1 million pounds. That number is calculated by taking the water density of a cloud and multiplying it by its volume. Fortunately for us, the cloud can still float around with all that weight because the air below it is even heavier. The Canary Islands are believed to be named after dogs, not birds. The birds are actually named after the islands. In Spanish, the area's name is Islas Canarias, which comes from Latin meaning island of dogs. The emptier your fridge is, the more cold air is lost when you open the door, making the machine work hard to replace all that crispiness. If the fridge is filled, less cool air escapes as it creates a barrier, and the foodstuffs hold the cold. Meaningless energy is required to fill it back up again. Space smells like a barbecue and fuel, according to astronauts. The odor is believed to be caused by stars and the vacuum of space pulling particles of metal off the spacecraft. Alaska is the only U.S. state that can be typed out using a single row on the keyboard. I'll bet they're very proud of that up there. In August 2013, NASA decided to use the Curiosity's rover vibration technology for something a little different. Following the mission's first successful year on Mars, the rover was programmed to celebrate. Millions of miles away from home, Curiosity hummed the happy birthday song all alone. Spotting a rainbow during daytime is pretty common, but few know it can occur at night too. When there's a full moon or mist or a waterfall around, you can see the rare phenomenon called a moonbow. The average person will walk about 5 times around the world during their lifetime. If you maintain the daily average of 7,500 steps and live until 80 years young, you'd have walked about 216 million steps or around 110,000 miles in your lifetime. You've probably said you'll be back in a jiffy quite a few times, but unless you're super fast, that's a promise you can't keep. A jiffy is an actual measurement of time, about 1/trillionth of a second. That small mark above the lowercase I and the lowercase j is called a tittle. It's believed to be a combination of the words tiny and little. Rainbows aren't just found in the sky. The River of 5 Colors in Colombia shines more vibrantly than any rainbow you've ever seen. Located in, I'll just pop this on the screen, This picturesque body of water gets its multicolored beauty thanks to a plant that lives all along the river. From May to November, the river weeds turn bright yellow, blue, green, and red. When the waters are at their shallowest, the colors just burst. In June 2020, San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge started speaking. Well, officially, it was the wind passing through the newly installed handrails. People could hear the weird sound from several miles away. Still, the bridge is at its safest when it faces less wind turbulence. So, the sound is a good sign that strong winds are passing smoothly. San Francisco is also one of those cities where driving on the slopes you'll see more sky than road. The steepest street angles at 27%. But Baldwin Street in New Zealand has got that beat. The residential street in Dunedin, in the far south, won the Guinness World Record of the steepest gradient, a thigh-tiring walk at 34.8%. The sharp incline makes all the houses look like they've sunken into the ground. Americans spend about 2.5 days each year looking for the things they've lost. The most common items lost are pretty obvious: glasses, remotes, phones, and all kinds of keys. Ever seen a dragonfly strutting away? Doubtful. Despite having the usual 6 legs like most insects, theirs aren't made for walking. They're designed to help the dragonfly balance and grip. As if cats weren't shady enough already, they're also capable of mind control. Cats can change the pitch of their meows to sound more like crying. This easily manipulates us into giving them extra food or all the attention. Get equipped for any season with brand new Brightside merch. Click the link and grab your print. In Australia, there are pink and purple lakes. Lake Hillier, known for its bright pink color, sits off the coast of Western Australia. All the pink is caused by the algae and the high salt content. It's also safe to swim in. Hutt Lagoon, also in Western Australia, has a large number of algae too. Depending on the time of year and cloud coverage, the lake can range from red to pink and lilac. What we smell is responsible for most of what we taste. Our mouth feels texture more than anything else. That means, without being able to smell, apples, potatoes, and onions will all taste the same. Try it if you dare, but hold onto your nose tightly. You're a little shorter when you go to bed at night than when you wake up. The cartilage in your spine slowly sets throughout the day. While you rest, your cartilage acts like a spring and releases the tension, making you a little taller when you wake up. Taking a single step uses over 200 muscles in your body. It's working out all those muscles every time you just walk around. There are over 3,000 satellites operating around the Earth right now. This isn't including all the space junk that's floating around in space either. Over 100 million pieces of rubbish are orbiting the Earth, some as small as a pinhead, others as big as a car. The most disliked font in the world is Comic Sans. It comes across as cute, lighthearted, and informal, but it's also considered unprofessional and very immature to be used. Comic Sans was designed by Vincent Canary in 1995, and even he doesn't like using it. The word swims is still swims when flipped upside down. I know you just checked. Your thumb doesn't make any sound when you snap your fingers. The sound you hear is actually created by your middle finger hitting your palm. Your thumb just gives the right angle to get that clicking sound. The surfer slang of hang 10 actually means having all of your 10 toes over your board's edge when riding a wave. To make this work at its best, a heavy longboard is recommended. Hey dude, surf's up! Gnarly.